My squid is absolutely fresh, miss. Listen, miss, it's fresh.
We're going to see the Nomad Souk. Apparently they have good prices.
Hi there. Anything biting?
As if. 20 years there's been fewer fish, but sometimes you can get lucky. Go figure. It's really odd.
You seem to know the region well. Maybe you can fill me in a bit. I'd like to know a little bit more about the local legend. I was told that there's a monster down there, living at the bottom of the lake.
It's not a legend.
And how can you be so sure?
Back when, the lake froze over earlier in the season. People would go out and make holes in the ice in the middle of the lake, then fish like that. Sometimes they would even set up these cabins for the winter next to the hole. The old folk always said you should only cut a small hole, just wide enough so the fish could be pulled through when you landed them. No more than that. One day, this guy who was kind of odd cut a really big hole. To make it easier, he said. In case he caught a really big one. You don't have to believe me, but he's the one who went into the hole. Backwards. Into the depths. In less time than it takes to say it, the monster's arm came through the hole, then dragged the poor guy down to the bottom of the lake. That's why the old folks say never make a big hole in the ice, because of the monster that lurks below.
And how do you know all that?
Because the poor guy was my older brother. And I was fishing just next to him that day. So you think what you want. You have a good day, miss.
Things are heating up for Mayor Bulyakin.
That big boat, the Crystal, it's been rotting at the dock for years.
Believe me, it's a really good thing that the nomads can't just come and go around Valsembor as they please anymore.
Are you okay, sir? One more step and you were in the drink.
R-E-N-O.
Pardon?
It's me, Captain Obo. Obo! Proud commander of the just as proud crystal. So don't you, sir, me.
Well, delighted. Captain, I'm Kate Walker. I'm looking for Steiner's, the clockmaker.
If I fall in the water, sailor, it'll be to go straight to hell. So don't fall in the water, sailor. You understand? Bastard's waiting for me.
Who are you talking about?
The monster of the lake is waiting for us all, miss. Everyone's time comes eventually. To finish the work. Come on, back in the fight. Because you can never lower your guard. Never.
The crystal? Isn't that the boat that the drunk in the port was talking about earlier? Given the number of seats, this must be some kind of ferry, some kind of transport. Nobody. Everything seems to still be working. Strange for a boat to be left like this, unwatched. It looks like it needs repairs. Too bad. Poor Captain. Even though his superstitions terrify him, he's obviously dreaming of a second chance. tavern.
So...
Excuse me, please, miss.
Yes?
I'm looking for Simon Steiner's.
Simon Steiner is my grandfather. My name is Sarah. Sarah Steiner.
Pleased to meet you, Sarah. I'm Kate Walker. Can you tell me where I can find your grandfather's workshop?
Of course. You'll find his shop is at the end of the alleyway, on the left, just as you leave it, in the main avenue. Can I ask what you want with him? Because he's rather old, you know.
I'm accompanying the Uccle caravan. Apparently your grandfather is supposed to be making a mechanical prosthesis for Kirk, their spiritual chief, who had a bad accident recently. Without the artificial leg, Kirk won't be able to go along with the great migration of his people. And on top of that, the Ucles won't leave without their guide.
You're accompanying the Ucles? My God, you're so terribly lucky. When I was little, Grandfather used to tell me all about their adventures, full of mystery and magic.
Do you like life in Valsembor?
Oh, there's really not that much to talk about here, you know. I spend all my time here or with Grandfather since he got sick.
There was no one who could keep an eye on him for you?
We can't afford it, I'm afraid. I also think I prefer it this way. My grandfather is my only family.
I guess you're pretty close to your grandfather?
Yes. Of course he can get a bit grumpy. Especially the last few years. But he's actually really adorable, and you should see the work he does. Give him a few cogs and springs, and he'll give you some unbelievably incredible invention. He almost makes mechanical objects seem alive.
I see exactly what you mean. I used to know someone like that, too.
The only problem we have is that business collapsed when he got sick. I really do believe that if I didn't have the waitressing jobs to make ends meet, we'd probably have to close up shop.
You seem to like the Uccle, Sarah. I get the impression that's rare in Valsembor.
It's true that when it comes to the Ucles, people around here can be a bit silly. They go out of their way to make the nomads scapegoats for all of the town's problems since they got stuck here.
But you don't, do you?
Of course not. Grandfather told me that he has actually seen 3 or 4 of the great ostrich migrations in his lifetime, and he always really respected those strange people. He even made sure I would admire them too, you know.
Thank you for your help.
I'll be stopping in to see Grandfather on my next break. Maybe I'll see you there.
Yes, I hope so. Goodbye, Sarah.
I'd rather be left here on my own if you don't mind, miss.
I'd really suggest you steer well clear of Captain Obo, miss. He's always basically drunk as a skunk.
Ah, miss, delighted to see that you finally managed to leave the Uccle camp.
Yes, thank you very much for the pass.
Well, now that you're at last here, you'll be able to taste my famous borscht.
It would be my pleasure, but I do have to find Steiner the clockmaker right away.
Simon Steiner? Ah, in that case, you should speak with Sarah, our young waitress. She's his granddaughter.
How are things in town? They don't seem to be going that well.
If you ask me, the atmosphere is horrible. At least half the people don't want the Ucalls right at our door. Most of the shopkeepers even made the decision to go on strike over what they saw as unfair competition. Also, Valsembor hasn't been the same in the last 20 years. There it is.
I met that man recently. A certain Captain Obo. He doesn't seem very with it.
And he's been that way for 20 years, miss. 20 years. Can you imagine? He used to command the Crystal, the boat that made the crossing between here and the amusement park, on the other side of the lake. And he wasn't the same man then.
Is Simon Steiner well known here in Valsembor?
For a long time, he was rather popular. You know, he isn't just a clockmaker. He knows everything about mechanical objects. He repaired everything for everybody here in Valsembor. He also designed the amusement park on the other side of the lake with a colleague of his. A French automaton creator, if I remember right. You could say Valsembor owes a lot to Simon Steiner, miss. So when he got sick, I offered to hire Sarah to help a little. You understand?
I'm off. Thank you again for your help.
See you soon, miss.
He's not only a total drunk, he's also the disgrace of the town.
All those youngsters trying to act smart to impress the Steiner girl. It really gets to me.
I'm not standing here because I'm happy, you know, miss.
That shape there in the water, what is it?
The lake is haunted by a demon. It's watching me. Waiting. I can feel it.
Impossible, I don't believe it. He forgot to leave it open again. It's kicking off near the town hall.
No Yukos in Valsembor! The shopkeepers can't take it anymore! The shopkeepers are on strike!
They've been...
What? That statue! No, it's impossible. If you were only here to see this, Oscar. Steiner. Hello. Are you Mr. Steiner? I'm sorry to bother you, Mr. Steiner. My name is Kate Walker, and I've come to pick up the prosthesis for Kirk, the Yukel's spiritual guide.
And well, dear Miss Walker, Dr. Efimova has informed me that the young man was not yet in any sort of condition to withstand the operation, and that...
Mr. Steiner, are you all right?
It is impossible. That pendant you have around your neck. I would be very obliged if you would entrust me with it for a moment. Please, Miss Walker. Mein Gott! An XZ-2000 automaton heart in perfect working condition. A compensating spring memory. Pendulum ventricles and small mechanical pumps. Everything seems in excellent condition. Donnerwetter! Where on earth did you steal this, Miss Walker?
I did not steal it. It's a souvenir. It's all I have left of Oscar, a very dear friend.
Ah, so. And yet I am actually very familiar with this type of precision mechanism. An infernal precision. Incredible, unique expertise. For this was a Vorarlberg automaton, Miss Walker.
Yes. It was Hans Vorarlberg who designed this object. Tell me, did you know him?
Oh, yeah. He even lived here a few years. We did a lot of work together. He taught me so many different things, you know. So it is useless to try and make up silly stories, Miss Walker. And I am afraid that I am not about to allow you to leave here as long as you have not told me the truth about where this object comes from. Well, I'm waiting for any sort of credible explanation.
Oh, don't bother locking me in, Mr. Steiner. If you must know, the truth is that Hans Vorarlberg was someone who was very important to me. I accompanied him on a very strange journey throughout Europe. And that object in your hand is the only souvenir I have of that adventure.
That proves nothing, Himmelherrgott! Hans would never have given this to...
Mr. Steiner, are you all right?
My heart... need... my medication! Quickly!
Just don't move. I'll go and get your medication right away.
Make yourself right at home. Don't mind me. I just own the place.
Kirk's prosthesis, but it looks like it isn't finished. A woman's writing saying, "Grandfather, don't forget to take your medication 3 hours before dinner."
So, you would abandon me to my fate?
All that clattering must get really tiring after a while.
My heart. I need my medication. Quickly. Thank you for your precious help, my dearest Miss Walker. I'm afraid I may have judged you somewhat hastily.
Don't mention it, Mr. Steiner. Tell me about the prosthesis. I need to take it back to Kirk very quickly, if, of course, you agree to let me have it.
Yeah. I just have a few small adjustments to make. It involves very precise and meticulous mechanics, understand?
Will it take long? I'm sorry to insist, but I also have to give a hand to those unfortunate Yukels. I need to help them get across the lake with their herd of ostriches. I'm so worried about them.
Once the mechanical leg is at last ready, I can go to the clinic and bring back young Kirk to you. That way you only have to worry about what happens to the other Yukels.
You'd do that, Mr. Steiner? That would really be a great help.
So, perfect. But dear Miss Walker, are you aware of what lies in store for the nomads when they reach the other side of the lake?
You want to talk about everything that happened in Baranor 20 years ago.
How on earth did you hear about the story, miss? The authorities have always done everything that was in their power to keep this terrible business absolutely quiet.
I read the ship's log that Captain Obo wrote at the time. Tell me exactly what happened there, Mr. Steiner.
It has become a true hell on Earth since the time of the last great ostrich migration. Please join me downstairs for a moment, Miss Walker. I'll show you exactly what I mean.
but a field of ruins and desolation since a week after the explosion of reactor number 3 in the nuclear power plant. Valsembor is on the other side of the lake, sheltered from the prevailing winds, and fortunately it seems to have been spared from the deadly radioactive clouds. Our town was mobilized to go to the aid of our neighbors. Although our town's means were modest when compared to such a catastrophe, there were nonetheless among us some brilliant mechanical engineers. In record time, they developed a small army of automatons capable of helping the affected people. Those men and dogs of steel could go where a human could no longer set foot without becoming seriously ill. Over there, they could be excavators, rescue workers, and treasure bearers.
These automatons look just like my friend Oscar. I guess people put that statue up in the square in their honor.
Yeah. Truly magnificent pieces, nicht wahr? The XZ-2000 model is most assuredly one of Hans's major masterpieces.
Their mission was to bring back any survivors of the catastrophe to Valsembor, where the victims would receive the best care in Dr. Zemyatine's clinic. The Crystal, the ferry usually responsible for linking the towns of Valsembor and Baranor every day, carried the new type of rescuers to the scene of the drama, and brought back the survivors of the catastrophe.
So Baranor suffered the ravages of a nuclear accident. But according to that film, the automatons you designed with Hans should have helped save lots of lives, right?
I'm afraid that's not how things went. Because of Captain Obo. Ah, that must be Sarah. Please come this way, Miss Walker. I'll introduce you. Miss Walker, may I introduce you to Sarah, my granddaughter?
We've actually already met. Haven't we, Sarah?
I actually owe Miss Walker a candle. Thanks to her calmness and peace of mind, I'm still here and on my feet. She found my medication and gave it to me before it was too late. Donnerwetter.
You don't mean you had another attack, do you? Ah, you're being so very naughty, Grandfather. You absolutely must let Dr. Zemyatine examine you.
Come on, stay calm, my little child. When I go to the clinic to take the prosthesis to the young Yukol, I'll stop by and see the good doctor. Until then, why don't you make yourself really useful to Miss Walker? She's looking for some way to transport the Yukol caravan to the other side of the lake.
Well, I think I've already found the solution. The boat in the film, the Crystal, it must be the ship that's docked in the port. If it was able to transport the automatons you and Hans built, it could carry the ostriches across the lake.
Ah, that's not a bad idea. But unfortunately, there's a slight problem of size, dear Miss Walker.
Sounds like you're talking about Captain Obo's alcoholism. I saw him earlier on the dock.
That coward has been hiding himself in alcohol ever since he abandoned our automatons to Baranor. And he'd rather simply die than go back. He tells everybody that the evil monster of the lake is waiting for him, and that as soon as he goes back on the water, the beast will just up and grab him. Ha 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 ha. But of course, that is the purest fantasy.
Grandfather, I know you're still really angry with Captain Obo because he abandoned the automatons that you built with your friend Hans and Baranor. He was supposed to wait for them. They were going to take all the survivors they found in the rubble to the boat and then bring everyone here to safety in Valsembor. But in the end, when he got to the beach at Baranor and saw the disaster and all the dead, he became really afraid. The disease, the radiation. He must have had an uncontrollable panic attack, so he immediately turned back, dumped the machines on the Crystal into the lake, and came back empty-handed to Valsembor. And the automatons have been there ever since, in hell. But who knows? Maybe today he'll want to sell. I'm sure Kate will be capable of convincing him to help the Yukols. I have to go do my waitressing shift in the tavern. Come by and see me later on, okay? Captain Obo will be there.
All right then. I'll try and convince Captain Obo. Thank you for everything, Mr. Steiner.
I don't know if I really should wish you good luck, dear Miss Walker. Baranur is only an open grave now.
How did you meet Hans Wahlberg?
I met dear Hans when he had just arrived here in Valsembor, 20 years ago.
What was he doing in the region?
Oh, he didn't seem to have any particular reason. Always traveling. He stopped off here and there, then left again when the feeling came.
Are you still angry at Captain Obo for abandoning your automatons?
Yeah. Hans and I put an awful lot of energy into making them all, you know. We thought of everything.
How so?
Our automatons were designed to tirelessly go through all the rubble, piece by piece, in search of survivors, administer first aid, and then take them back to the beach so that they could be safely embarked on the Crystal. But because of Obo, none of that ever happened.
What exactly happened in Baranur?
An accident in reactor number 3. Negligence. Faulty maintenance. What do I know? Anyway, one spark was all it took, and then total chaos. The rare survivors were brought back here to the Valsembor clinic.
So you and Hans decided to build an army of automatons to help all the people who were left behind still stuck in the rubble in Baranur.
Yeah. Hans thought that helping the town that had opened its arms to his amusement park was a duty. And we would have managed to do it in the end, too. If only that coward Obo hadn't left our automatons to rust because of his so-called lake monster. The evil monster of the lake. Stories to scare small children with, Miss Walker. Not an excuse for cowardice. Mein Gott.
Thank you for your help.
Donnerwetter, Miss Walker. I need quiet and concentration if I'm going to complete this prosthesis.
All that I have left of dear Oscar.